Was kann man lieben Freunde und Uli und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Fata Morgana Let's Play. Letztes Mal, Michel wurde zur Mansion geschickt von seinem, und da war auch so das Picknick mit seinen Brüdern, ne? War glaube ich letztes Mal. Was ziemlich cool war. Und, ja, wie wir schon letztes Mal gesagt haben, was sind die offenen Fragen, Digga? What to believe?
To lie.
Ja,
The truth.
I don't know, Mann. Und Digga, holy shit, sieht das gerade krass aus, ne? Die Mansion hier, das typische mit den Ketten, aber so in Rot, so richtig blutig. Und vielleicht sind wir jetzt gerade in der Gegenwart. Mal schauen, let's go. The next thing I know, I'm sinking into a vast void. Darkness cuffs my hands and legs, restricting my movement. Images of the past I had kept buried away for so long stream past me. Ja, also wir sind gerade wieder in der Gegenwart. Aber wir sind noch nicht. Was ist mit Resurrected? Mit der Witch?
Wir werden es ja wieder
Probably. This isn't how I wanted it to happen. Not coming from my own mouth, but being laid bare for all to see without my consent. Ja, eben. That wasn't how I wanted her to find out about my secret, about my shameful history.
Also sehen das gerade Witch,
Ja, jeder hat
Giselle
gesehen.
auch. Oder was heißt jeder? Die drei, oder?
Ja,
I warned you, my dear. I told you. You didn't want to reclaim your old self. If you had simply let it be, you wouldn't be here now, forced to relive it all. Wir hätten echt eigentlich auch drauf kommen müssen, weil die Maid in der Gegenwart auch das Self, was sie gerade ist, nicht so ist, wie es wirklich ist. Was ich meine, Reclaim Your Old Self hätten wir auch drauf kommen müssen, dass es bei Michel genauso ist. Okay. Now do you understand? Tale I spun behind the fourth door was much for you, as much for you as it was for her. There you were a young man with a sad fate, but you met a wonderful woman, fell in love with her, and then died in the arms of tragedy.
Digga, die Fourth Daughter eine komplette Lüge.
Ja, das ist komplett. Ja. The sequence of events is not far from the truth, but I was able to turn it into something enchanting and beautiful. I got rid of all the nasty little details. Your ugliness, your body troubles, all of that.
Ja, eben, weil ich hab jetzt. Mal gucken, ob wir überhaupt auch einen Arzt bekommen. Was zum Fick ist mit seinem Körper
Ich
passiert?
weiß auch nicht. Doesn't it seem a bit unfair, Michel? You tore down the walls around Giselle's heart, around her past, but you wanted to keep your own nice and safe. But you wanted to keep your own nice and safe and hidden away. She has every right to be upset. You were afraid she wouldn't accept you, were you not? And that's precisely what happened. But can you honestly blame her? The truth you've kept hidden away is not something most would be able to accept. The prince who came riding in to save her.
Silence!
Paul Rodriguez. Silence! Wasn't actually a man.
Please, enough! I've seen enough. Ja, aber auch keine Woman. So, ein Mischmasch.
Keine Ahnung.
Let it stay buried, please! Just stop this. I don't want to see it. I don't want anything to do with it.
What a sad little creature you are, my dear. Not a woman in this world would have any interest in you now. You've surrounded yourself with layer upon layer of walls, covered yourself with this patchwork, barely held together quilt of masks, and it's the only thing keeping you all together.
Ja, deswegen. If you don't lose yourself up going the stairs, vielleicht war alles, also, was heißt alles? Er macht die Tür auf, ne? Und Seventh Door, also wird geöffnet, nachdem Giselle sagt, du bist kein Mann, ne? Und vielleicht wird das trotzdem eine Illusion mit Giselle, damit sie Michel brechen kann. Weißt du, damit Morgana ihn brechen kann, damit er einfach hier bleibt.
Ja.
Also, mal schauen. Das ist so eine Idee.
You're the frailest one of all, the weakest. And it's about time you accept that and stop trying to fight it.
I am not weak.
Oh, is that so? Let's proceed with the tale then, shall we? Face the one you hate the most in the world. Yourself. Your weakness, your ugliness. Face it in despair. Mal gucken.
Jo, es gehen sogar zu Perioden vorbei und wir sehen es nicht so, I guess. No, down. Oder nee, er wird gerade so reingezogen. I guess in die Door wieder, ne? Again. Once again, my own desires, my own wishes are completely irrelevant. The path sprawls out before me once more. And the witch is exactly right. I despise the man I was then, teeming with vain hope and foolish dreams. I would rather pretend that part of me never existed. But I have no choice. I'm dragged back into the life I once lived. My pleas for mercy, fading into dark nothingness. Oh, Digga, meine Augen.
Menschen.
Ja, also kurz davor.
Yo, das ist
I couldn't remember how long it had been since the capital had disappeared into the distance, but I'd been on the road for some time now. We'd long since left paved roads behind. The carriage rocked back and forth as it proceeded down the rough dirt path. For hours I stared through the window as unfamiliar scenery flowed past. Eventually a fog settled over the area, making it difficult to discern night from day. We made our way through dark, dense woods, and beyond them, like the world fading into view after a dream, imagine appeared before us. Ja, immer, ne? Like the world fading into view after a dream. Imagine appeared before us. All the windows were either shuttered or boarded, encasing the house in darkness. In a way, it felt like all I had done was move from one prison to a much larger one. Briefly, I thought they had possibly been sealed to keep anyone from seeing me inside, but my coming here was a very recent development. More likely, then, the house had been in this condition when it was initially purchased. Quite a piece of property my father had found himself with. I wondered if he had been swindled by its previous owner. It was a gloomy, uninviting place, but it didn't appear to be in disrepair. The coachman left my luggage outside the door, gave me an empty farewell, and then went on his way. I was entirely alone. Michel. Ja, also die Witch's Whispers, ne, und Resurrection, mal schauen. I spent some time just staring out at the forest, but naturally there was nothing of interest to be found there. So I quietly turned around and opened the door to the mansion. Ja. It's certainly dark. I could barely even see my own feet. Briefly, I considered trying to unshutter a window or two, but ended up deciding against it. The less inviting the place looked, the easier it would be for me to avoid contact with the outside world, as Didier had recommended. Eben, hätte er mal erzählt, dass so ein paar Besucher vorbeikamen. Aber, ja, mal schauen. Standing there in the darkness for several minutes, my eyes gradually grew accustomed to the lack of light. While it was hardly ideal, it was sufficient to take a look around the house. The inside didn't seem to have received the same level of care as the outside. Everything was dusty and the air was many years stale. But I wasn't in a cleaning mood. So I dug through my luggage for a bundle of candles, lighting one with a flint. Ah, a stained glass window? Examining the large room I found myself in, I came across a stained glass window, depicting an angel. The archangel, after whom I had been named, looked solemnly down upon me. Quite a joke. 2 columns of evenly paced pews ran the length of the room, all facing the multicolored window. I set the candlelight on a podium of some sort, which is when I realized this is a chapel. A flat lamp of silver, been bent in the middle, was mounted to the culprit's face. When I saw it, I knew exactly what it used to be. A cross. The pews weren't facing the stained glass, but the cross. Why though? I felt as though the mansion had been built up around the chapel, but rather than the opposite. I was perplexed as to why anyone would do that. But of course, there was no one around to save my curiosity. Which fine. Taking the candlelight back in hand, I made my way beyond the pulpit. They set a small metal door. Ja, hier geht's zum Observation Tower. Da oben wird eine Leiche finden, I guess. I pressed one hand against the cool surface, oder mal schauen, and my heart leapt. It was abnormally cold. Though the door itself seemed perfectly normal, an inexplicable anxiety spread through me. It was a very unusual sensation. My instincts told me I should stay far, far away. And my heart told me it was my duty to see what lay beyond. What am I going to find back there? After a few moments' hesitation, I decided to act in opposition to my instincts. Ja. Hoch zum Observation Tower. Oops. I was looking at the long spiral staircase. The wooden stairs stretched so high I couldn't tell where they ended. Exiled. I guess hier in mehr Detail das Exiled. Vielleicht auch, weil es in Klammern so kurz ist im Vergleich zu den 100 Jahren. An observation tower, perhaps? As if being pushed forward by some inhuman force, I mounted the staircase. By the third or fourth loop, soft light began peeking into the tower through regularly paced rectangular openings in the stone walls. Through one such window I gazed outside, and far off in the distance beyond the seemingly endless ocean of trees I saw a small village mit den Bastarden. Amide und den Hunden.
Waren die da schon vor 10 Jahren davor?
Vielleicht?
Ich glaube nicht. Haben die nicht irgendwas gesagt, die sind vor kurzem reingekommen?
Maybe. Beyond the seemingly endless ocean of trees, ich bin lost. Nowhere I'm ever going to go. So many stairs. It had been quite some time since I had exerted myself this much. I hardly had any opportunity locked away in my chambers. With every step I took, I could hear my joints creaking and my muscles screaming. I was long since out of breath, only staying upright with the help of the wall. No. This is pitiful, damn it! But turning back never occurred to me. I had to keep climbing, had to make it to the top. And it was that feeling of necessity that pushed my exhausted body upward.
Necessity.
By the time I reached the top, I was practically gasping for air. Sweat streamed down my forehead. I wiped it aside, turning my gaze toward yet another door. But unlike the first, what on earth? A triangle of rope covered the surface, layers upon layers of it, making its intent abundantly clear. Nothing shall come in or out. It didn't look like it had been put there recently either, as much of it was rotted through. Out of curiosity I grabbed at the coil and yanked. The rope snapped in several places, chunks falling limply to the floor. That wasn't enough to allow the door to open though. People only seal doors like this for a reason. Largely because they didn't want or couldn't allow others to see what hid behind them. Like what they did to me. For a few moments, I felt as though I was looking down at myself from outside my body. If it hadn't been this man, but someone else standing there, would they have turned back at the sight of the seat of door, acting as though nothing was there? Or would they have done as I did? I ground my teeth, a mix of annoyance and bitterness rushing through my body, through me. But I did not hesitate. I held the flame of the candle up to the wall of rope, careful not to set the whole thing ablaze, slowly, carefully burning through them one by one. It was repetitive and time-consuming, but I persisted, wiping away sheets of sweat before it streamed into my eyes. The sun was well on its own way down before I finally managed to expose the door. I took a deep breath. Okay, let's go, Freunde. Looked up at it and gulped. There was something indescribably chilling about the door, and then I pushed it open. A barely noticeable breeze brushed past me. A single ray of sunlight shone into the room, coming from a single window sitting high atop the wall. It cast a milky white patch of light on the hard floor, revealing the fact that I was not alone. The rumors say a witch lives in the mansion. There I saw, in this cursed house, a skeleton with only one arm.
Morgana.
A cursed mansion for a cursed man. It was like I was destined to end up here.
Das heißt, George ist halt nicht so gründlich hier durchsucht. Er ist einmal kurz reingegangen.
Ja, und so einmal, entspannt aus, nicht so noch. Es war ja noch zu mit Ropes, deswegen.
Ja.
I had no way of finding out who the skeleton belonged to. So I left it there at the top of the floor and retreated into thought.
Und irgendwie hat er sie dann resurrected.
Mal schauen. Das sagt sie zumindest.
Ja. Aber er hat halt auch nicht so ihren Body resurrected, sondern ihr Wesen. Und dann war sie irgendwie in seinem Kopf.
Ja, mal gucken. I wondered to myself, how had the one-armed person died? How had they felt locked in that room, staring up at that sole window so far out of reach? About the only thing they would have seen was the sky and the occasional bird. Had they yearned for more light, or had they come to despise the tiny patch of it that trickled into the room? Had they been some sort of wicked criminal imprisoned for wrongdoing? Not all prisoners are necessarily bad people. Having been branded with a non-existent curse, I couldn't help but think that perhaps something similar had happened to whoever they were. Vainly reaching out for the sun. Constantly praying for rescue that would never come. What had gone through their mind as they withered away? Boah, das war doch so geil.
Ja, die Sache ist, das fragt er sich gerade, aber dann auch Morgana hat auch gesagt, in all den Jahren hast du mich nie nach mir gefragt, weißt du?
Ja.
Also hat er jetzt nicht gewusst, dass das sie ist. Oder danach hat sie nicht mehr interessiert, als er mit der Witch war.
Und ja, jetzt nochmal Confirmation, er hat keinen Curse, ne, war ja auch klar, eigentlich. Haben wir auch schon länger gedacht, so. Aber ja. Also ja, er hat keinen Curse.
Die größte Sache, die ich jetzt wissen will, was auch kommen wird, wie hat er sie resurrected, wenn das passiert ist.
Dann die Menschen, nicht die Menschen, die Witch Morgana, war auch nur ein normales Mädchen. Also, ne? Ja. Aber was komisch ist, ist halt erstens, wie hat sie so alle verflucht und so, ne? Und wie ist sein Körper?
Eben.
So die zwei Sachen.
Eben, die Sache ist, was du gemeint hast, irgendwie vielleicht gibt es keine Curses und Witches, sondern liegt alles nur an der Menschen selbst.
Ja, kann sein.
Weil sie ist ja auch hier gestorben.
Mhm. Und er auch.
Und Giselle
Ist nie gestorben.
ist immer noch
Oder
ein
doch,
Mensch.
ist gestorben. Aber.
Aber wo?
Ja, sie ist gestorben, als sie zum Welt wurde. Also sie hat kein Blut mehr gehabt.
Okay.
Sie war ja
Genau,
nicht mehr
und das war
lebendig.
auch ein Mensch.
Ja. Ja, let's go. Would anyone ever come for me? Would my brothers keep their word? Ja, das ist auch das Ding, ne?
Mhm.
Or would I, years from now, end up another pile of dry bones somewhere in this house? Unwanted and alone, robbed of all hope, with no one but the darkness to talk to, as it sunk its teeth deeper and deeper into me. That corpse could be me in the future. Didier, Georges, did you really send me here to keep me hidden? Or is this to be my grave? Can I put my faith in you? Can I trust you when you say I'll be able to return? That everyone will happily accept me? That we'll all be together again? That we'll play chess and that we'll draw pictures? That nobody will be left out? All I really wanted was for people to accept me for who I was. To accept that I was a man. No, that I had grown to resemble a man. That I had the heart of a man. I didn't need anything else. I didn't want to cause anyone anguish. I didn't want to hate anyone. I may. I simply wished to be who I was. No, who I want to be. And I didn't want to be treated like I was strange or different. Oh, ich liebe diesen Soundtrack, man. Fuck. If that was asking too much, then at the very least, I wanted to have one person in my life who truly understood me. Ich finde, wer am meisten mich resembled ist, obviously Fata Morgana, weil die war auch locked up. Ne?
Du meinst resembled von der Story, oder wie?
Ja.
Okay. Mhm. Ja.
Didier, Georges, I pray that you can be that for me. Lurking quietly in the mansions, all encompassing darkness, I waited and hoped that the day might arrive when I could come out of hiding. However, 1, 2, 3 years later, I had still not been set free. Only my mother wrote me, and in all her letters she said the same thing. When your curse is broken, come back home, sweetheart. When your curse is broken, I want you back in my life. When your curse is broken, everything will be back to normal. I wait expectantly for the day you are free of that terrible curse. The curse would never be broken though. What I was now was what I was meant to be. All that time I had spent as a girl, none of that was real. Didier had said he didn't think I was cursed. My brothers didn't think I was some hellish demon's child. So no, the curse would never be broken, because there was no curse to break. I wasn't cursed at all. There was no damned curse, but the flow of time eroded away at me, slowly killing any confidence I had once had, sucking me dry of all trust for others and myself. With enough time, I started questioning my own beliefs about what I was, started thinking that perhaps I was cursed. Much like the head at the Bollinger estate, the servant who came by every month did his best to avoid making eye contact. But beyond just bringing me food, he was also checking in on me and making sure I didn't attempt to run
Das ist
away.
der eine Dude in dem Haus gewesen.
Yeah, probably. Is it true that you don't have
Ja.
a dick? Oder kaum, was hätte er da gedacht? Weil Ars, ne?
Sie don't have arse.
Ich weiß gar nicht, was so alte römische alte englische Sprache für Schwanzes. Leute von Ars. Anyway. And every month he probably went back and told mother the same thing, that my curse had still not been broken. Do you have the answers I seek, O Father in heaven? If you do, I ask of you to guide me. Please tell me what I am. If I truly am cursed, and perhaps you could tell me how much my soul weighs too. Not very much.
$37. Wie was? 12 Euro.
Ja, mit Mr. Krabs. I spent enough time alone in that dark mansion to drive anyone mad. The more time that passed, the more I grew to question myself, my worth as a human being. And whenever the self-doubt and loathing became too much to take, I trekked up to the top of the observation tower to see the light. Sitting there on the hard floor, I would place my hand on the skeleton's leg, its shoulder, its hand. Hat sie so wiederbelebt?
Maybe.
So Life Energy gegeben, so wie in New York Show? Mal schauen. Nein. From the size of the bones, whoever it was appeared to have still been young when the life withered away. Poor child. Even I feel blessed compared to you. Oh, how miserable it must have been locked away up in this tower to have your arm mercilessly severed. You have my pity though. I alone shall mourn your death, and I alone shall take comfort in your presence. You poor, poor child. By pretending to pity someone who had it worse than me, I was able to feel somewhat better about myself.
Pretending to pity.
Ja. Hab gesagt.
Ich meine nur. Ich hab's nur hervorgehoben.
So. Because if I was in a position to pity someone else, then conversely, I wasn't in a position to be pitied. Vainly, foolishly trying to convince myself of a lie, I spent hours, days, alone in that tower, holding the dry bones in my arms. Now, there was a sight to lend credence to my alleged madness. Over time, the air in the mansion seemed to thicken, as if the fog were condensing. Water pushed out all the air, swallowing me up, suffocating me. A putrid mire. I was trapped at the bottom of this thick, black sludge. Soon I lost track of the passage of time, my only landmarks being the dates on mother's letters. Before I knew it, 8 years had passed.
Ja.
Digga. Jetzt noch 2, bis ich wiederkomme. What
Dann
the hell?
jetzt ist ein bisschen mit Morgana.
Maybe. What the hell is this? Aber das heißt auch noch, ja, das ist aber auch noch, dass er 8 Jahre lang komplett alleine mit niemandem getalkt hat. Ich dachte, Morgana.
Von der
Nee, warte mal.
Mann.
Ich dachte eigentlich, shortly nachdem er da war, war Morgana da und hat mit ihm geredet.
Wieso?
Weiß nicht, ich glaube, ich habe im Kopf irgendwie, dass Morgana das mal gesagt hatte. Irgendwie. Mal schauen.
I don't think so, aber
I hadn't heard my own voice in so long, I had almost forgotten what it sounded like. There was a delivery that day, but it wasn't the usual package. The servant was instead carrying a large, rectangular object draped in cloth. What? Shoving that into my hands, he said, the regular supplies will be here in a couple days, and then ran off. Is this a Spiegel? Presumably, he was afraid to spend any more time than necessary with the cursed man. But I didn't bother to say anything about it. I knew it was a waste of breath, and I was not in inclined to hold it against him if he didn't want to look me in the eye, to exchange words. All I could reasonably do was sit back and bear it. As long as I kept my mouth shut, the man could do his job in peace. By the candlelight I began unwrapping the package the servant had delivered. Ah, nee, es sind die paintings, oder? Mal schauen. From within, a sheet of parchment fell to the floor, and inside the package was a painting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just looking at it, I couldn't tell what it was, aside from the fact that it was a portrait of a woman. I knew those brush strokes, though. They were very distinctly George's. Was? Georges malt es?
Ist ja der Mann.
Ja, aber ich habe irgendwie gedacht, die Mutter malt es, weil es sieht so aus wie White Girl. Oh mein Gott, oder er malt Aimee oder so ein Scheiß, Digga. Mal schauen. The woman depicted had white hair, ja. White hair.
Warte mal, war das nicht dann so?
Ja, er war voll mad dann so.
Und dann hat er es zerrissen.
Ja. There was a flash. A fresh jolt of the pain that had nearly faded away. The half-dozen needles piercing my chest. Das ist Torture von Georges. Jo.
Warum, Alter? Ich verstehe nicht. Oh, der Song ist geil.
So much blood had spilled from... Von George hat gesagt, I see you are a man. What else?
Verstehe nicht.
Ja.
Vor allem jetzt so random. So,
Oder am Ende hat... Nee, mir weiß ja nicht, dass er lebt. Had spilled from those... so much blood had spilled from those gougers. I had long since lost any sensation of pain, but now it was back. No, Georges, you didn't. My whole body froze. The blood in my veins came to a halt. I couldn't breathe. I was drowning in a pool of imaginary water. I crouched down to pick up the sheet of parchment. It was a letter in Mother's handwriting. The first line read, as it did in all her correspondence.
My beloved daughter Michelle. Every day, I pray that your curse might be broken. But lately, I have come to think that perhaps the reason you remain cursed is because you have forgotten what you are supposed to be.
Ah, die Mutter hat ihn so gefragt. Und er wollte das nicht hier ausschlagen, oder was?
So long you have spent in that accursed form, it is little surprised you would lose sight of yourself. How can you return to your true self if you do not remember what this is? So I asked George to paint you a picture, aber hätte auch so Nein sagen können.
Ja.
Hoping it might help you break free of your curse. You are a beautiful young woman, my dear Michelle. I presume you have already seen the painting. It's lovely, wouldn't you agree? The flowing white hair and skin like glass, those deep enchanted red eyes, those slender fingers and modest feminine frame, those soft lips. It is not you when you were younger, though. Instead, I had to imagine what you would look like now. That is what you will look like when your curse is broken. Isn't that wonderful? Imagine it. Envision yourself, your true self. Remember who you are. Recall your true self. I wait eagerly until the day you come back to me, looking as beautiful as you do in this painting, my dear, sweet Michelle. This is you. This is the real you. You are beautiful, my little girl, and I love you dearly. That awful fuss about all those years ago, we can pretend none of that ever happened. Forget all about the dreadful thing that curse made you. Become the girl you used to be, the girl you were meant to be, so we can once more be a happy family. I am waiting, forever waiting for you. Und dann...
Stimmt, das hat sie ja angesmiled, weißt du noch?
Ja, stimmt.
Oh mein Gott, das war wahrscheinlich so Illusion von ihm, weil er selber war. Yeah, the letter ended there, leaving me with the woman in the painting staring back at me. Her eyes seeming to insist that I was not me, that she was the real me, and I was nothing more than a fraud. Laughing at me, scoffing at me, for ever thinking I was anything but a female, mocking me for stubbornly insisting I wanted to be a man. The pain in my chest swelled. spilling from my mouth in grunts and moans. And then... I screamed from the bottom of my lungs. Why? I yanked at my hair. Why, Georges? Slamming the painting against the floor. You said I could believe you.
Yeah.
You swore to the god of art. So why? Why would you do this to me? You said yourself that you didn't think I was cursed. You acknowledged me as your brother. You know this isn't me. So why? Why would you make this? I've been waiting for so long. 8 Jahre. I put my trust in you and Didier. I trusted you. I believed you would always support me. Was that all a lie? Deep down, you really think I'm cursed, just like Mother. And that's why you haven't written to me. Why you haven't answered any of my letters. Where did my faith get me? Why did you even help me escape? Was it all for show? Was my execution just a lie? An excuse for you to send me somewhere far away? Well, was it? Tell me, Georges! Tell me the truth! What about you, Didier? Where do you stand? No, this isn't real. My voice was getting hoarse. I didn't have the strength to hold it in. And everything came spilling out of me, squeezed out by the phantom water. And the white-haired girl in the painting just stared back at me, smiling. I bit down on my lip as hard as I could. Oh mein Gott, jetzt ist mir noch was aufgefallen gerade eben so. Es wurde immer, also die Mädchen immer gesagt so, du kamst in allen Doren vor. Und deswegen hatten wir ja gesagt so, wir müssen The White-Haired Girl sein.
Ja. Aber wie gesagt...
Weil wir haben ihm gesagt, ja, Michel kam nicht in 1, 2, 3 vor.
Ja eben, wir haben gesagt, ja, dann ist es so halt reconstructed, aber das habe ich schon gesagt. Das war nicht...
Ja, so falsch reconstructed.
Aber es war trotzdem so, dass die No Memories und so...
Mhm. Es war halt immer so, White-Haired Girl hat gesagt so, ich fühle mich so, als würde ich dich kennen, so. I bit down on my lip as hard as I could. A metallic taste spread through my mouth, drops of blood trickling to the floor. Pulling the knife I used to open the monthly deliveries from my waistband, I lifted it high into the air, gathering what remained of my strength. This isn't me! And slashed the woman's face with it. This isn't me, I am not this woman! I am a man! I carved into it. This is not how I look! With everything I had. Don't try to erase who I really am. Don't call me repulsive. Don't say I'm an abomination. I tore into that smile, contempt surging from every slash. This woman isn't real. I wanted to curse the whole damned world. Every last thing, the wretched mire that had become of my life. My brothers for happily going about their lives as I suffered here in the darkness. My delusional mother for refusing to acknowledge who I was, my father for trying to have me killed, and me for making me realize I was a man, and then for torturing me for coming out about it. I mean, bitch.
Yeah.
Töte sie mir. Everyone. I didn't care anymore. I wanted everyone who had ever wronged me to suffer the same way I did. Wie die, let's curse them together.
Morgana.
Wie Morgana so gesagt hat, ne? Boah, Freunde, ey, wirklich, echt, das ist so geil, Digga, es ist, boah, Freunde. Ey, Fata Morgana ist echt crazy geil.
Ja.
Oh, Digga. Ja, let's go.
Can make that happen.
Wieso, oh mein Gott, oder wurde sie resurrected, dadurch, dass jemand genau das will wie sie. Ja. Jemand, a voice rang out. Also 8 Jahre hat es gebraucht, bis es egal war. Krass. Auch noch, by the way, insgesamt wurde er sozusagen 12 Jahre auch gefangen gehalten, weil die 2 Jahre davor von...
Die ja noch schlimmer waren, also. Ja.
Ja.
Das heißt auch, dass das Painting und also Georges Painting und die Mutter, das schuld war eigentlich, dass die Witch resurrected wurde.
Ja. A voice rang out.
I can curse them for you, my dear. Ja gut,
It was a woman's voice, muffled, like there were several walls between me and her. Who's there? I swiped up my candlestick, thrusting it forward toward the sides behind me, but there was no one else around.
give it a little thought. It's not that difficult. And when you figure it out, come to me. I've been waiting for so long for someone like you. Someone with such hatred for the world.
How am I supposed to know who you are?
How could you not, my dear? You've visited me so many times, held me in your arms, whispered poor child into my ear again and again.
What? No, that's not possible. I see. I've finally truly lost my mind.
If that's what you wish to believe, that's your choice. But the way I see it, if you had truly lost your mind, you wouldn't be in so much pain.
The voice, still muffled and unclear, seemed to be coming from somewhere far away and very close by at the same time. Oops.
Find your way to me and open the door once more. Let me out of my cage. Give me your hand.
I knew in the back of my mind that it was all absurd, but nonetheless, I did as the voice said. I let myself be drawn in by the pleasant whispers. The archangel stood proudly upon his glass perch, looking down at me. His gaze almost seemed judgmental, but I marched for the tower, unconcerned.
For so long I have been waiting for the day I would be rid of this darkness, for the day someone would truly set me free. When you arrived at this house, I felt the hands of fate at work. Fate? That you were led here, that you were meant to come to this place. You've been through so much to get here. I know your pain. I know how it feels to be locked up, to be tortured and used for others' gain. You were the only one who ever have pity for me, and I shall be the only one to have compassion for you. You were the only one to stay at my side, and I shall do the same for you. You can give me life again. You can resurrect me.
Ja, wie?
That's what
Was hat er jetzt gemacht?
I'm waiting for. Now open your... Michel.
It felt like I was no longer in control of my own body. Her voice was tender in a way unlike either mother's or Ami's. Enticingly so. Standing at the top of the observation tower, I pushed open the door. And the first thing I saw was the ray of light shining through the window. And nothing else.
Thank you for opening the door.
It was empty. The skeleton, which had been sitting there as long as I had been at this house, had vanished without a trace. I spun around, my gaze darting back and forth across the chamber, but there was no one there. Only her voice whispering in my ear.
You made this possible. You gave me the chance to have my revenge.
Revenge?
Now, I can make those men suffer a hell even worse than they once put me through. Constant, everlasting despair, their flesh may turn to dust. But so long as their souls live on, their torturer will know no end.
The tenderness in her voice crumbled away, leaving only raw loathing behind. She then let out a half-muffled cackle. Who are you?
Oh, you poor dear. They locked you up here without telling you whose house it was. You sad, pathetic thing. Though that's exactly the kind of person I needed.
You're not the witch, are you?
That I am. I am the cursed witch who loathes this puny, wretched world, curses it. And my name is Morgana.
Morgana. I assumed the witch was nothing but a legend, a tale.
Das ist eine wahre Legende. If you don't believe me, I would be happy to show you. Let's see. I could place a curse on someone you have a grudge against. Oh ja, Amine, Chefo.
Ja.
I dragged them down into the dark abyss. You are the one who granted me freedom, after all. Sympathized with me, pitied me, appreciated me. You happily embraced my filthy corpse. And for that I will grant you your wish. Wishes can come true, Michel. Much the same way I was able to come back to life. If you remain steadfast in your desires, they will become reality. For devotion and yearning are the fountain from which miracles spring. I cannot leave the mansion's grounds, but that is but a minor inconvenience. Jetzt weiß ich, woran es mich auch erinnert. Es erinnert mich an Bill Cipher, der auch so schon Deals gemacht hat, um wieder back to life zu kommen, und er konnte dann auch nicht den Bereich verlassen.
Gravity Falls.
Ja. Tell me who you wish to curse.
Bitte macht er jetzt Aimee.
Ich weiß nicht, wen er. Wenn er nur einen wählen könnte, er wird doch Aimee. Nee, oder vielleicht den Vater, aber es ist ja nicht so passiert.
Ja, Aimee. Und auch das Ding ist, er hat ja mal Giselle vorgeschlagen, willst du, dass ich der Witcher, sie soll jemanden casten, also kannst du ja, dass er das jetzt selber macht, bitte.
Hier. Tell me who you wish to curse and I can lead them here. I can force the cross you were made to bear unto them. I believe in my power to perform miracles because you made my miracle a reality. So tell me, my dear, who will be first? Your second brother, who made that ridiculous painting?
Georges.
Shall we kill him? He deserves at least that. He brought you more than enough pain. But if you would rather, you could curse your mother instead.
Ja, Aimee.
Or the woman who set you on this path.
Ja, Aimee, töte sie. Aimee.
Or perhaps you would prefer your father. With him gone, you could return home.
Aimee.
Ask, and I will perform a miracle for you.
Aimee. I didn't think she was lying either. As ridiculous as the whole affair sounded, the skeleton had disappeared from the tower, and I was hearing a disembodied voice. But beyond that, the voice seemed to have a sort of magnetism to it. If magic truly did exist in the world, then her words were laced with it. There was a power in her voice, something that repelled any instinct I might have to doubt the things she said. So I, on the verge of losing my grasp on reason altogether, believed every word the witch said. I wanted to curse them. To curse my brothers, mother, father, Aimee. Also ich würde sagen, die Schlimmigkeit ist Aimee, Mother.
Georges.
Ja,
aber nein, Vater
Georges und der.
Nee. Vater vor Mother, oder?
Nein, weil durch die Mutter war er überhaupt erst eingesperrt und alles. Und sie hat gesagt, dass er einen Curse hat.
Aber wir wissen gar nicht, der Vater war gar nicht da so in der Szene gefühlt, weißt du, man?
Ja.
Der war so,
er wollte ihn dann halt killen, damit die Mutter halt endlich aufhört mit der Scheiße, ne? Und die Mutter hat, wegen ihm wegen der Mutter wurde er eingesperrt. Also so komplett. Restrain him und alles. Und die Armee hat es dann halt ausgenutzt.
Aber wenn, sagen wir mal, er einen killen könnte, dann wäre halt der Vater, dann könnte er returnen. You know?
Ja.
Das wäre halt die Sache. Aber na gut, du hast recht, mit der Mutter wäre immer noch. Ja. Okay.
Huch. Ja. And the witch was saying I could do precisely that.
What will it be, my dear?
Bitte, Armee.
There is no price.
Lüge.
I don't require a sacrifice or dark ritual to perform my magic. I simply wish to show you my gratitude.
Bitte, Armee, töte sie, töte sie, töte sie, töte sie, töte sie, töte sie, töte sie.
I want you to have that which you desire. Who do you want to curse?
Können wir auch suchen, bitte?
Ja! Dann, no.
The witch's sweet whispers hung in the air, aber ich denke nicht. For a brief moment before whispering away. Oh, sorry. All the muscles in my body tensed up. I felt woozy, like the floor was wobbling beneath me. It took everything I had not to fall over. Who did I want to curse?
Oh, and you are welcome to choose more than one.
Ja, wie viele?
All of them even.
Ja.
Aber wir wissen, dass was passiert ist. Stimmt, soweit wir wissen, halt, na gut, ein Curse kann sich ja anders ausbreiten immer. Muss ja nicht immer so kill them sein. Oder sie sagt ja selber nicht. Sie sagt ja curse them.
Und dann
doch. Nein, stimmt, das ist recht. Sie hat gesagt, we can kill George if she does. At least that, okay. Aber wir wissen ja, dass Mom nicht gestorben ist, da. Die
und
Brüder.
Der Vater ist halt spät erst gestorben, als Giselle war. Brüder wissen wir nicht.
Die Brüder ist so ein bisschen, wissen kaum was über die.
Ja,
das
und
war nur so,
die waren halt erst jetzt
so
wieder da. Und wahrscheinlich hat einer von den beiden diese Knights geschickt. Ne? I could curse them. And the witch would kill my family. I would be free. No one would know I had been born female. Ja, aber selbst wenn er das so macht, dann kriegt er kein Essen und so ein Scheiß mehr. Also es hätten die, ich weiß nicht,
egal.
Ja, wie egal, wieder verrotten.
Wie? Wenn die ganze Familie tot ist, muss er nicht in dem Menschen bleiben.
Was?
Wenn die ganze Familie tot ist, müsste er nicht in der Menschen sein.
Ja, aber er könnte trotzdem... Und wo kriegt er Essen und so?
Ja, er geht in irgendein Dorf.
Er wird der Throne... Ja, wie? Aber er kann nicht in der Sonne sein.
Achso.
Oder sagst du, er wird einfach der Thronerbe dann von Bollinger?
Ja, aber...
Wir wissen ja eh, dass er nicht... Oder Fifto am Ende...
Das nicht passiert.
Am Ende Fifto auch Lüge. Und schon?
Why don't you become the new head of the estate?
Wie ich gesagt habe gerade. Who would I curse? Who would I kill? Lydia, George's mother, father, I may, all of them? They had exiled me to this place.
Have your revenge.
A black butterfly fluttered across the room. Room's single shaft of light. As I stared absently up at it, dozens of memories, of emotions flashed through my mind. But at the end of
the day, we're family. We can get past anything.
With enough time, everything will go back to the way it was before. Just like it did for myself and George's. I don't understand. Ja, die beiden würde ich vielleicht noch am Leben lassen. Aber Aimee, no. Vater, wir wissen, dass er in der Zukunft Scheiße macht. Und dass er ihn killen wollte. Und Mother, na. I don't understand.
Das stimmt, Digga. Na. Vater auf jeden Fall als zweiten, wenn man noch in Betracht zieht. Ich habe nicht vergessen, aber mit den Scheiß mit Giselle. So, ihn vielleicht noch mehr als...
Ja, aber im Moment hat er...
Ja,
oh, wissen wir, vielleicht hat er schon.
Ja, selbst wenn. Dann, aber wie gesagt...
Why would I think about them now? They've abandoned me. Ja, er denkt nur an seine zwei Brüder. Ne? Nicht auf die anderen. Scheiß auf sie. Left me in that room for 2 years. Then left me here for 8 more. They don't care whether I'm alive or dead. So why should I? Why should I? Ja, das Picknick.
Ich kann trotzdem Aimee first,
ja.
Please, hallo? Was spricht dagegen? Obwohl meint er auch, dass dann sie die Happiness...
Ja, die Happiness von Joel verstört.
Ja, dann den fucking Vater. Oder... No. Have you made up your mind?
I have.
Wie ich gerade gesagt habe, es ist so useless, drüber nachzudenken, weil wir wissen ja schon...
Ja, Aimee und die Brüder können theoretisch sterben, aber die anderen nicht. Die sterben erst in der Zukunft.
Aber die Brüder schicken doch Pakete. Als Giselle da war. Oder?
Ja.
Also das ist zum Beispiel die Rose und so.
Ja, okay, dann die halt nicht, weil er hat's ja geschickt.
Ja,
Aber ja, okay.
Also Georges und Aimee.
Na, Aimee auf jeden Fall.
Sein.
Ach ja, nicht sicher, Joyce kann es vielleicht auch nicht
Then
sein.
tell me, my dear, who will it be? Who will you curse?
Aimee, bitte, Aimee, komm schon. No one. I cannot curse anyone, Morgana. Mann, warum nicht Aimee? Come on, bro.
Surely you jest. I know just how much you wish to see them dead. I felt all your hatred, your despair. And you mean to tell me you can't curse them?
It struck me just now that I can't do that to family. Ja, okay, Aimee dann. Die ist keine Family. Fix sie. I cannot curse my own family.
This is the family that cast you aside, labeled you cursed, made you suffer for years, and then locked you away in this remote mansion. And they don't feel even the slightest bit remorseful about any of it.
I understand that. I know they don't give the same weight to the words as I do. I figured that out long ago. I know I'm alone in my prayers. That they don't want the same things I do. That I trusted them more than they ever deserved.
So why then can you not curse them?
Because I don't want to hate them.
Hier auf seinen Torfin-Arc.
Ne, wie bei Giselle, ne? I don't want to bring them suffering. On the contrary, I want them to be happy. Okay, nicht wie Giselle, ganz aber.
Das ist noch über so, wenn Aimee damit einbezogen ist, ist crazy, ne?
Ja.
You have no place in that happiness, though.
Ich würde sagen, echt am schlimmsten Aimee und die Mutter halt für ihn, weil die Mutter hat ihn zwar so supportet, so, aber Digga, als er dann halt sich so transformt hat oder so, ne, hat sie ihn 2 Jahre eingesperrt. Ja. Haben zwar immer noch so Briefe, oh ne, warte mal, das war davor, glaube ich. Digga.
It is a happiness that rests upon your misfortune. Why then should you not drag them down so you can find respite for yourself?
I would find no respite by cursing them.
How can you be so sure of that, my dear? Jetzt bin ich mal auf der Seite von Morgana, dass sie ihn so verführt, so mit ihren Worten, so, ja, tu es, tu es. I most certainly found a great deal of it myself. You're trying to follow your conscience, I can see that. But that good is superficial, and all it does is shackle you. Remove the shackles, and everything will be so much easier.
Nothing you say can convince me to kill my family. Aber Aimee ist doch keine Family. Come on, man.
Sie ist so reingeheiratet.
Scheiß auf sie.
Why not someone who isn't family then?
Ja, Aimee.
Surely you can think of at least one person you would like to see dead.
Oh, I most certainly can. I could kill her a dozen times and it wouldn't be enough.
Ja, bitte,
Yeah.
bitte.
But just because I would be happy with her death doesn't mean there aren't people who would be sad to lose her. Oh my goodness.
No.
Come on, man. Remove any one person from that group and the whole thing could come crashing down. All because I could restrain my own hatred. Man, shut up.
Ja. Glaubst du nicht, Michael? Glaubst nicht. Your concern for them will devour you.
Don't think I'm not aware of that.
You aren't. You don't know that at all. The only reason you give them any consideration is because deep down you still have hope. But hope has a way of forsaking those who give it a home. You have a problem and you need to take care of it before it kills you. You and I, we were cut from the same cloth. While you may still care for your family now, in time you will come to curse them. Consider that a warning, Michel. Your hatred, your curse, is what brought me back to life, and there is no getting around that. We do have plenty of time though. No need to rush to a decision. I'll show you what it is you truly desire deep, deep down. I'll show you again and again until you finally acknowledge it.
The bag black butterfly hovering by the window disappeared. Immer so Butterfly, ne? Butterfly-Effekt. And the witch's voice grew distant. Das war so ein cooler Effekt in Erased, by the way. Overwhelmed. I collapsed to the floor unconscious. Had I really said what I did out of love for my family? Or was I just afraid of crossing that line? Was Morgana right? Was my heart now home to a terrible monster? If I actually had resurrected the witch with my hatred, maybe that was what I was now. Darkness seeped down over me. Once more, I was again encased in a pool of despair. Slowly, ever so slowly, it wore away at me, eroding me into nothing. If I didn't come up for air, I soon would take the witch's offer. Cackling like a demon, I would place a curse on someone. I would kill them. Reviving her was a mistake I never should have made. And not for the greater good or anything so noble. No, every time she spoke, a little more of my spirit died. Okay, Freunde, an der Stelle will ich sagen, nehmt den Like-Button auseinander. The Witch's Curse. Oh, Digga, für das 1 Stunden Let's Play wieder hier, Freunde. Wir sind halt so intuit gerade.
Wir sind, man könnte auch sagen,
mittendrin stehen wir dabei. Ja, Freunde, aktiviert die Glocke, abonniert den Kanal, checken der Partplay, Videos, Streamtop und ja. Ich mache jetzt kurz aus, aber ich werde einfach weiterspielen, ja. Wir schauen, Freunde, und
reingehauen.
ciao!